Two artists, two different styles, animation, illustration. Who's gonna win? I got kids all up in this comment section every day, every hour, always asking me, Ethan, how much money is it gonna take to get your beard shaved off? Ethan, what's the difference between animation and illustration? Like, what's the pay difference? Ethan, I don't have time to sit here and answer all your little baby questions all day. You know, picking through all the little comments, trying to figure out your little baby questions. You know, I'm just gonna answer in a very broad way. Not only are we fighting these two characters, we're fighting the lifestyle. We're gonna be fighting the illustration and animation lifestyle. We're gonna be putting them in a box. We're gonna be fighting them. So without further ado, in the right corner, weighing at pure muscle, constantly wearing a baseball cap, you have Sean Galloway. He's a comic artist, he's an animation artist, he's just an all-around boss. He's been in the game for forever. And in the right corner you have Louise. I'm sure you've seen her illustration around. She's like the most sought after illustrator, like the most copied illustrator on the market. She's just everywhere and you just see people copying her work all the time. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into copying and that type of thing, and when to do it and when not to do it. So like I said, there's two different artists, two different type of work styles. Well, what's the difference between illustration and animation? Animation is teamwork. For the most part, you are a clock in the gear. You know what I'm saying? It's a team effort. It's not every man for himself. Everything you do is going to be for the project. It's nothing personal. Illustration, on the other hand, for the most part, it's going to be individualism that sets you aside from everybody else. People are going to be going to you for your style. They're going to be going to you to make their project come to life in your style. So let's say you look at Lois's work. Lois, I'm just going to call her Lois because I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's say you look at Lois's work and you say, like many people have already done, that's the type of work that I want to do. I want to draw portraits. I want to draw very flowy, very artistic style. If you want to do that, that's cool. But the only reason it works for her is because she's created her own style. She's created her own look. And I can tell all over the internet, I can look around and pick who has copied directly from her. And those people might get work. They may. But if they do, it's only going to be basically a copy of her style. So the thing about illustration versus animation is, in illustration you want to stand out as your own individual. You can in animation as well, but I'm talking about entry-level jobs in animation. Let's go over that a little bit. Entry-level job in animation, let's say you want to get your foot in the door, you want to become a visual development artist. Well, you're not, unless you're like insanely good as a student, you're not going to be going straight into visual development on a feature film at Disney. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do. I'm going to just say what I did. I started from the ground up. I started as a background designer and gradually worked my way up through that. And eventually I did work that is considered visual development. But I started at the bottom and worked my way up. And at the bottom, I'm not going to be shooting for a background designing job with beautiful flowy illustration characters and stuff like that. It's cool it's okay to have that work, but if you want to get into animation from the ground up, you don't necessarily need to show that you are an individual aside from everybody else. You just need to show that you have good technical skills. You can draw well, you can draw in perspective, you have your anatomy down, things like that. So individualism for groundwork in animation, it doesn't matter that much. The only thing that really matters is those foundational skills. And so you're probably wondering, oh, what's the B-side to that? What's the B-side to animation? Like, what if I do want my own style and get into animation? Well, if you want to look how to do that, Sean Galloway is an amazing example. I don't know how he specifically started, but I'm sure he worked his way up from the ground, doing the base work, and eventually, just like I have, he's gathered information from the people that he's worked under on his way to the top, and now that he's at that level, he has all this information and all this knowledge at this point that he has created his own comic book essentially. So if you go look at his work, it's all him. You can tell it's all him, and now he can get hired by any company that wants his style. So he doesn't really have to do the groundwork anymore. He can, and he does obviously do the groundwork because he's amazing and he does so much work. But it's all in his design. It's all him. It's not a company that he's trying to replicate. He can get a job doing that, but if he so chooses, just like I can at this point, we can both get hired solely on our style of work, which is essentially the end point or the end goal that I was trying to get to. So, how do you stand out from the whole of the internet, from this just mass of students and people coming up in the industry? There's a lot of them and it's getting bigger. So how do you stand out from that? Me, personally, how I stood out was I didn't take inspiration from one specific person, from one specific artist. I took inspiration from a bunch of different artists. Took all these different inspirations, combined them into one, and that can only get you so far. You have to put in mileage. Constantly drawing, constantly painting. Eventually you're going to create your own thing. What people do wrong typically is they'll draw, they'll do their own art, and then they'll look at a person that they really admire, and then they'll go back to theirs and constantly doing that. And that's great for learning. That's an amazing thing for learning. But make sure you just mix it up with different artists. Let's talk about money. There were some projects that I worked for free. There were some projects that they paid me in potatoes. Alright, let's get to posing. Posing. So I met Sean Galloway a few years back. He's like the nicest thing I've ever met. So obviously he is not going to be striking a woman. So starting off, Sean's at a -100 on attack. That's not looking good. But I think I've seen him fight his kids before, and that's like, you gotta be fast. He's pretty fast. So he's got his defense down. As for LOISH, I'm gonna be drawing one of her characters. I'm not gonna be drawing her. So to make things simple and clear, I gotta make sure she's not moving too much. I'll have her in motion doing a slight elbow. So I'm her. I'm thinking, I was trying to think of a reason to be mad at Sean. But I really can't think of anything. I can't think of anything. So I guess she's gonna be hitting him for no reason. Maybe something like that. Alright. Maybe she's kinda jumping. And then he's gonna be over here. She's gonna be throwing that hit. I don't want her to hit him. Neither of them are very aggressive people. What if his arm is back here? So maybe he's just trying to back off. If she's throwing the hit here, maybe he was trying to do something with his hand. And she swings. Maybe he was swinging. Maybe he was trying to do something. Maybe he was trying to swing. Then he comes back around like this. And then she's swinging like this. Maybe she takes that arm. She's already got an arm lock this way. I think it's good. It's a pretty simple shot. Nothing too crazy going on. But you know, sometimes you don't need crazy. Sometimes you need to choose. We're going clarity. We're going simplicity over all this intricate movement. You know, sometimes you don't need all this intricate movement. Maybe it just needs to be something simple. All right, you need to pick and choose. You need to focus. 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 You need to focus. Focus on what's important. And what's important here? Let's see, we got LOISH. She makes beautiful, clean, flowy movement. So we're gonna try to emulate that, and that's what we're focusing on. All right, so you need to pick and choose. When you're doing art, you're picking and choosing. I'm not gonna have all this intricate stuff going on, and you know, you're like, well, what do I look at? Do I look at the intricacies, or do I look at the simplicities? You know, are we looking at action? Are we looking at the beauty? Action, beauty, action. Focus. You need to pick and choose, people. All right, so you need to pick and choose. When you're doing art, you're picking and choosing. I'm not gonna have all this intricate stuff going on, or do I look at the simplicities? You know, are we looking at action, or are we looking at the beauty? Action, beauty, action. Focus. Or do I look at the simplicities? You know, are we looking at action, or are we looking at the beauty? she's swinging like this, maybe she takes that arm. She's already gotten in an arm lock this way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I went on Skillshare and looked up some classes. I found a digital illustration by Sydney and Hairstyles 101 by Maria. They both look pretty good. If you're a beginner and you're trying to get into illustration, that might be a good gateway to do it. Click the link below for 2 free months of Skillshare. You can go check those out. If you like this video, if you like my content, the stuff that I'm trying to do here, and you want to help out, then you can go in the comment section or go to the subscribe button, and then you can leave. You just leave. You can just leave.